Broncos Country. Is Bo Nix more like John Elway or Tim Tebow when it comes to this mile-high magic we've seen in the fourth quarters? Not only going back to the start of this season, or rather just a few weeks ago with the victory over the Eagles, of course, the biggest comeback like ever in the history of the world against the Giants, but had a handful of these games also in his rookie season in 2024. We're going to dive into some of the splits and the stats on how John Elway, Tim Tebow, and Bo Nix have performed throughout fourth quarters with the game on the line, trailing, all of this. So I found this to be pretty interesting. Of course, if you guys like this, please join the conversation. Like, subscribe, always. Welcome to all the new subscribers. But let's go ahead and get this started. As I'm sharing my screen, I want to show off this jersey. It's super cool, really quick. I picked it up. Facebook Marketplace. I had a John Elway jersey just like this when I was a kid, man. And it was really cool to see that an adult size was available on Facebook Marketplace. Got it for a few bucks. Let's go. All right. You guys know I love Excel. We're going to get into having some fun stuff here. Okay. Shout out to Kodiak Broncos saying my sinuses are going haywire. Glad I get to watch this and recover. That's what's up. Kodiak, I miss you, man. Feel better. Landon, what's going on? Win Navy jersey. That's right. All right. What's up, Hydra Ammo? You're right. I am a simp. All right. You guys are distracting me. Let's go ahead and get into all this fun stuff. So, first off, let's go ahead. We'll work our way from the top going down here. So, we're going to look at fourth quarters overall. Now, this isn't how many fourth quarters they've played. This is just however many career games they had at quarterback. Tim Tebow had 23 games. Bo Nix has just surpassed that at 24. And John Elway had like 10 times the amount at 234. So I find this interesting. By far, Bo Nix had the longest yards to go in the fourth quarter right now. John Elway faced 5.5 yards to go towards the down. Tim Tebow, 6. Bo Nix, 8.6. So he's still facing huge amounts of yardage to get to the next first down, right? Find that very interesting. Now, when you look at completion percentage, Bo Nix also is a step ahead of the game. Now, John Elway played in a different era, right? So you have to kind of keep that in mind when looking at this. It wasn't the NFL of today, but Bo Nix almost at 69% completion. Tim Tebow at 52, right? Yards per attempt. Tim Tebow actually had the highest yards per attempt in fourth quarters throughout his career compared to these two at 7.9. And quarterback rating, a nice little 83 essentially for Tim Tebow there, but Bo Nix, again, ahead of both John Elway and Tim Tebow by a significant margin at a quarterback rating of 101 in the fourth quarter, okay? But you can see, I mean, again, it was just a different era back then with John Elway. Basically, any play that John Elway was under center for in the fourth quarters, it was going for 5.5 yards or so, while Tim Tebow was at 6.64 and Bo Nix right now at 7.38. So again, this is fourth quarter overall, not just in the fourth quarter comebacks. You could have a lead in these games, all of that. But now let's get to the game situation right here where you're starting to trail, okay, with less than 4 minutes to go. Very interesting. John Elway's to-go yardage spikes up significantly in this to 8.9 yards to go for a first down. Tim Tebow at 8.3 and Bo Nix at 8.5. Then take a look at the completion percentage. John Elway kind of still around that 56, 57 completion percentage mark. Tim Tebow actually jumps below 50% at 47 essentially. And Bo Nix, he doesn't drop. He doesn't stay stagnant. No, his completion percentage skyrockets like another 8 percentage points, up to 76.7%. I mean, man, this is crazy. The yards per attempt, they also go up from 7.3 in the fourth quarter to 8.8 when trailing in the fourth quarter with less than 4 minutes to go. I found that very interesting. Also, wanted to shout this out. In crunch time, trailing less than 4 minutes to go, Elway and Bo Nix averaging essentially no interceptions. There might have been a small decimal there, but anyways, it's at 0, man. Tim Tebow, though, 0.1 interceptions. I found that interesting. And also Bo Nix is averaging no sacks taken, which is huge, as John Elway was at 0.1 and Tim Tebow was at 0.3. But quarterback rating, again, Bo Nix is destroying both of them at 108.7 when trailing in the fourth quarter. John Elway's at essentially 87, Tim Tebow at 76. And play per yards per any play under Bo Nix is a whopping 8.66 yards per play. Now let's go into even deeper crunch time at trailing with less than 2 minutes left in the game. Found some interesting things here. John Elway's yards to go significantly drops. Very interesting. From 8.9 with 4 minutes to 5.4 with under 2 minutes. Tim Tebow's at 8.3 still. Bo Nix at 8.2. Completion percentage. Okay, we see John Elway's go down just a little bit from 57 to 56.7, then to 54.4% with under 2 minutes trailing. Tim Tebow, his go down a whopping 15% from 52 in the fourth to 47, now finishing at 37% when trailing under 2 minutes to go. And what do we see from Bo Nix? Just, essentially it's staying even at 76.2% completion, whereas in the fourth quarter, generally speaking, it's at 69, and then trailing under 4 minutes to go, it's 76.7. So just goes to 76.2, a drop of 0.5%. And then this really stuck out to me. Yards per attempt is at 10 with Bo Nix passing the ball. Quarterback rating when trailing under 2 minutes to go, it's at 103.1. John Elway's is at 82.5, and Tim Tebow's is at 51.3. So, again, another great thing right here. It's Bo Nix, yards per play, 8.76. Elway was at 5.31, and Tim Tebow at just crazy 4.33. Now, you might say, well, Dave, does that mean Bo Nix statistically is better than John Elway in the fourth quarter? I guess you could say that based on these numbers, but guys, here's the deal. Here's the deal, man. One conclusion I can drive from this is that if you are saying that this is Bo Nix is Tim Tebow because they both have, as you can see down here, 6 fourth quarter comebacks, it is very clear that the rest of the team was dragging Tim Tebow sometimes to these victories, man. No doubt about it. Bo Nix is absolutely obliterating the passing numbers when it comes to Tim Tebow, comparing them both in these fourth quarters. Now, one thing that's a huge thing that I didn't want to bring into this exercise was the rushing yardage. That was a big time thing for Tim Tebow, obviously. And it did play a factor in both John Elway and Bo Nix's comebacks as well. But I just wanted to exclude that because, hey, when you're talking about can you get it done with the game on the line in the fourth quarter, you need to do it from the pocket. You need to do it with your arm, right? And I think it's very clear, man. Bo Nix is just on a whole other plane, on a whole other level when it comes to how he's operating right now in the fourth quarters compared to Tim Tebow. Now, I'm not going to go as far as to say that this man is even better than John Elway in fourth quarters yet, even though the statistics share that. Again, John Elway played 10 times the amount of games right now that Bo Nix and Tim Tebow have locked. So maybe that's why you see some of these numbers be significantly lower. And again, if John Elway played in today's NFL, I think you would see his completion percentage substantially higher than at 57.3% for his career in the fourth quarter, his completion percentage, right? John Elway has 31 fourth quarter comeback victories, man. That's insane. That's over 5 times the amount that Bo Nix has right now and what Tim Tebow had throughout his career. John Elway also did it in the playoffs. He also did it on the road in the playoffs. He also had to go 98 yards in Cleveland. He's done this with pressure on him like you couldn't believe, man. Bo Nix, while I love Bo Nix, I got the Elway jersey on because Bo Nix still has to prove that he can do it in the biggest moments. And that will come as hopefully we see our Broncos continually make the playoffs and go on playoff runs under Bo Nix and Sean Payton, and hopefully some Super Bowl runs, right? Right now, man, interesting stuff. Again, I guess to summarize before I get to some of your comments, if you're calling this Tebow time, shut up. Bo Nix is on a whole other level. And I think that's encouraging because Tim Tebow was nowhere near being a franchise quarterback for him for us as much as we loved. What was it? The 2011 season that he had for us, right? Bringing us to the playoffs at a 8-8 record, I believe. Getting that victory against Pittsburgh, that was cool. But yeah, Bo Nix, I think, shows a lot more signs of being a franchise quarterback for us, right? So hopefully you guys found this pretty interesting. I'll get to some of your comments and see what you guys think about it too. Yeah, Hydra Ammo. Big takeaway here is that we're constantly in like 3rd and 11, 3rd and long, like crazy. And I've loved that Bo Nix has been able to make some big throws for us when facing 3rd and long, 2nd and long in these situations. Let's see. Seth Oyd, what's going on? Saying Bo Nix is a raw talent. Less raw this year, but he's already proving capable of stuff we haven't seen before. I would agree with you. 2nd year in the NFL. He's I don't know if I'd say I've seen a huge jump from him yet this year, but again, when you're orchestrating these incredible fourth quarter comebacks, we definitely weren't going to do this last year. Okay. I don't think that. Now, can we get the consistency more in the first 3 quarters? Let's hope so. Yeah, it's insane. Bo Nix already has the same number of fourth quarter comebacks as Tim Tebow. Guess he did it in one more game. It actually took one more game to get it done. But yeah, now that they know they can come back from behind, down, 18 points down. What do we come back from, man? 26 to or 19 points in the fourth quarter, right? You can score 33. Anything's possible, man. What's up, D-Rock? And saying, honestly, Nix is a hybrid of the two. He kind of is, man. He kind of is. And again, I think it's very positive that you see Bo Nix kind of obliterating these guys statistically. Of course, what I've talked about is that Elway played in a much different era, so you can't really compare them directly. But again, Tim Tebow played much more recently. I think it's very encouraging that you're seeing Bo Nix's efficiency numbers go up as the pressure is dialed up. You see, like his averages go up when he's trailing in the fourth quarter with less than 4 minutes or less than 2 minutes to go than he is generally in the fourth quarter. Like, imagine that. Like, hey, when the pressure's gone, yeah, your completion percentage actually is going to jump like close to 10%. That's interesting. Yeah, Nix is the perfect hybrid. Sean just doesn't know how to use him yet. I think so. And let's continue to see him use his legs a little bit more. Seth Oyd saying DT will make any decent deep ball look good. Yeah, he sure helped Tim Tebow out in some of those comebacks. That's for sure, man. So yeah, and I guess we'll end up with this. Hydra Ammo saying that quarterback power to the boundary seems to be the last thing teams are expecting. I want to see more of that related to the topic, but that's just what I was thinking today. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing today, Hydra Ammo. I watched some of those highlights again from that comeback this morning, and yeah, let's use Bo Nix's legs a little bit more. Get this team feeling confident and in a groove in the first half. Tebow mania was what made me fall in love with the NFL when I was 10. Man, Kodiak, I forget we're so far in age apart, man. I was in college during Tebow mania. Oh, yeah. Good times, man. So, anyways, guys, thanks for joining me. I'll be back with some more content tomorrow. Shout out to Prophet X for helping with the video. I guess I need to upload here my my ad read. I totally forgot to do that, so I'll stay on here for just a little bit longer. And I thought about doing something on the Russell Wilson thing. Maybe I'll just save that for TikTok. But nonetheless, Russell Wilson. Nice to see a human reactionary moment out of him for like the first time in his life. So y'all have a wonderful day. We'll go beat the Cowgirls. That's right. And go Broncos. I need to shout out Profit X, America's #1 sports prediction market, because guys, they're just now leveling up. They now got parlays. And now when you use my promo code Dave, you can get a 20% deposit match up to $100. That means deposit $500 and get an extra $100 automatically put in your account. They're now offering parlays, which is awesome. And like I said, you're going to get the best odds on the market because it's peer-to-peer sports predictions. So go ahead, sign up, start betting smarter, and use Profit X.